So when you start this thing, if you don't use good building practices, you're going to have a mug amongst all these other people here that have pretty decent mugs, and yours isn't going to be any good. And the reason why is because you didn't take good building practice time and make sure things are put together correctly. So like when I was talking about how lanky the clay is right now because it's really wet, that's going to cause a difficulty for you. So make sure that you know where your clay's at. If it's too wet, it's not going to work very well. So make sure that if you need to firm it up a little bit, we have heat guns, okay? So just make sure that you have the right clay. I will tell you also that the rectangle here, it got moved around and everything. It's kind of not great, but I'll still be able to make it into something that's decent. So, but I have a few extra years of experience on some of you guys, so you might want to make sure that you are extra careful. The more meticulous and careful you are on this project, the better it will be. So you're going to start off just by scoring the 45 on both ends. Okay. Obviously, we're going to slip. Scoring and slipping is really important to putting two pieces of clay together. If that's not something you knew, I mean, that used to be like the major question on the final one I gave one. Like, how do you put two pieces of clay together? It was like, it showed up so many times. So I'm going to take this and stand it up the best way I can and bring it into a cylinder. Okay, so like I said, this is very soft still, but I'll still be able to make it work. And the less you hold it up like I just was, and the more you let the cylinder just stand, the better it will be. Now, I for sure would take some time to let this firm up if this were your project. And you can see also, like, that seam is terrible right now, but it can be remedied. So I would take some time right away to make sure the seam on the inside gets closed off, and then try to close off the outside with the knowledge that whatever you do to this thing on the outside, it's going to be there. Now you can hide it by having the handle right here on the seam, but even that isn't going to protect you from a bad looking mug if you don't do a good job on it. Now, the cylinder project, the basic mug, is just taking this one right here and putting it onto, like, pretend this is a slab of clay, and you take this cylinder and put it on top of here. Once you have it shaped the way you want, trace it, cut it out, put it on the bottom, and then we put a foot and a handle on it, and it's done. It's pretty easy. Now, the other thing that we can do, which is I have the top one cylinder and the bottom one that's on the board reshaped cylinder. All you would do on that is, like, we're just gonna pat the edges and, like, get it to be like what they call square tubing in the world of industry. Like, you just get it squared off into like a rounded rectangle, more or less. Sometimes you might have to do something like this, put it on the edge, put a brush or something on the edge that you can get that angle built onto it, and it starts to get into the shape that you want it. So that will be like how to make a shaped cylinder, and then you take that, put that on top of a slab, handle and a foot, done. So those are two of the four styles you can do. So the other thing that you can do is called the tripod. So I declared this as sort of the bottom already. So I flipped it over so that the bottom is facing up. And then what we're gonna do with this, and you might wanna get like an up, like high angle so that you can see the opening, so that you can see how it looks, Gianna. So it's like, up high. So yeah. Okay. So now I put the seam for this project on where the base of the triangle is at, not at the apex of the triangle. So not here or not one of the corners. I mean, I guess that's an apex too, but try to get a really nice equilateral triangle like this, like even on all sides, and then kind of push it into that triangular shape. Now, what you do from here is we're gonna take a little bit of slip and run it along the inside of the seam like this. And this clay is so wet, I don't have to worry too much about that. But we're gonna start to pinch the corners. And when you pinch the corners, what happens to it is it builds it inward as you push together. And so it's gonna kind of belly in, like it's gonna divot into there. And then we keep working that. And I'm doing this a lot faster than you probably will. You take your time on it. We're gonna get this to come all together like this. And it is possible that you will have like a little bit of a spot down there in the bottom that has like that opening, okay? So if you have that situation, we can stuff a little piece of clay in there, like make a little triangle and put it in there and score and slip it in, and that will make it better. So it closes it off. I can get this to close all the way too by I'm basically vaulting the feet like this and pressing in on the divot of it and getting that to come together. So this is gonna be the bottom of the mug right here like this. And you can really see, this is a super like wet piece of clay, obviously, because it's really foldy right now. And I think I can handle that, but you may have trouble with that if you don't take your time in getting it to be the right firmness, the right plasticity. So that's gonna be the feet of the mug on the bottom. So it will qualify right there. Now, a couple things that can make this a little bit more interesting. You can kind of accentuate the points of the foot like this, sort of make them kind of stick down like this, like the bottom of a rocket or like a stiletto heel. See how I did the boy girl, like interest level? Well, some girls might be interested in rockets and some boys might be interested in high heels. You never know. So we got this all put together like this. And one other nice thing you can do to this is, I told you this looks like an Among Us kind of. So you can, when the clay is still soft, you can, I'll get this around for you so you can see, but you can put your hand on the inside and you may have to wet it a little bit if the clay's not really wet, but you see how it distends and like bellies out like that, so it makes it an even bigger mug, like so it holds more. That's a really good move to give it a lot of volume and just make it look more interesting. And I love soft slab building like this because it just doesn't take as much control. So that's how you do the tripod mug, how you do the shaped cylinder, and how you do the cylinder. Good deal. All right.
And cut.
All right, thanks.